So today we're going to talk about how to conceptually multiply whole numbers and fractions using Legos. Now Legos are a great manipulative to use because most students by 4th and 5th grade have put Legos together, have used Legos in some capacity. In fact, I asked my almost 6-year-old what this meant on his manual, this X symbol, time symbol, and he knew that it really just meant, he said, oh, I just need 2 of that type. So try to link what you're doing now, which is multiplying whole numbers by fractions, with something that they already know. And most students will feel comfort knowing that they actually know a lot about fractions just by playing or manipulating with Legos. So now we're going to move from that meaning just 2 of that thing to 2 times this fraction of a whole. The other nice thing about Legos is that you can really use a lot of the different pieces to represent fractions. For example, I'm going to use this one and a little bit here as my whole, and you can easily see that the smaller piece will be half of that whole. This even smaller piece will be a quarter of that whole. Or you can use something different for your whole. You can use this one. And now this piece is representative of a third of the whole. Put 2 of them together and now you have 2/3 of the whole. Or there's an even larger one. And this you can represent as quarters. So fourth, here's 1/4, here's a half, 3/4. And there's even some even crazier ones, and students can even start discovering what kind of fractions they could use with a piece like this. So for our first example, we are going to work with the expression 5 times a half. 5 times 1/2. So I'm going to use my whole piece that can easily represent halves, and it looks like this. And it looks like I need 5 of these half pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to put a couple of these out. And I'm going to start thinking about how I can start filling in 5 of my half pieces. Well, it looks like my yellow ones here are going to represent my half, so I need 5 of them. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and it looks like I need 1 more half piece. I'm going to switch to green here, and there is 5. So my answer is, looks like I didn't need these 2, I have 2 wholes and 1/2 left over, which means my answer is 2 1/2. Let's try another one. Let's try, let me erase this here. Let's try 3 times 3/4. And if you check out my video after this, I'm showing how to do this representationally with bar models, and I'm showing the exact same problems but with bar models. So now I'm working in quarters, so I'm going to choose just a piece that is really easily divided by fourths. And it looks like this piece is really easily divided by fourths, so I'm going to use that one. And it looks like I need 3 3/4. All right, so I don't easily have a 3/4 piece, and this is really where the discovery and the aha moments come in. Because you want to have 3/4, but there really isn't a 3/4 piece. But I know I need to cover up 3/4 of this piece. So I'm going to do some discovery here, and it looks like I can do one of these pieces, which is a half, and I can do one of these pieces, which is a quarter, and here I have 3/4. Now I need 3 of those 3/4. So I'm going to pick up some more of these. Now if you have Legos where you can kind of stay in the same color scheme, that may be helpful for you or your students. I am just pulling out what my son has, and most of them are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle colors, so you have to bear with me here. All right, so here's my 1 3/4, and I need 2 more. So here I have another one of these pieces, and I'm just going to add to that right up here because it looks like I had a 1/2 piece and a 1/4 piece that made up 3/4. So there I have 2 3/4, and I need 1 more. So I am going to, here we go. I'm going to add 2 things here. Let's see. Here's my 1/2 and my 1/4 piece. So 3 times 3/4 I can easily see is 2 holes, and I'm left with my 1/4 piece. As a scaffold, you can always write on pieces. So if you need to, you could write that this is 1/4. If you're just going to be working in fourths, you could write on the piece and then take that scaffold away. Because I'm using pieces for different purposes, I would prefer for me not to write on them, but if you're going to just be working in fourths, that may be helpful for those students, especially if you're doing intervention and they get confused as to which one are your fourths and which one are your halves. All right, let's do one more, and this one's going to be a mixed number. So the last problem I'm going to show is a mixed number multiplied by a whole number. So I'm going to show 1 1/3 times 3. Because I'm working in thirds, I'm going to use the piece to represent a whole that is easily broken up into thirds. So here I have this piece that you can see is easily broken up into thirds. And again, you can write on it if that's helpful for you or helpful for your students to visually see that. And again, I need 3 1 1/3 pieces. So I am going to just line a couple of these holes up just so I can start on the problem. So let's get started. So I have 1 1/3, which means I need a whole piece. Now I don't have a whole piece, so I'm going to use what I have because it looks like I have a 2/3 piece and a 1/3 piece, and I know that equals a whole. So here's 1 1/3. There's one of them. And now I need 2 more. So here I have 1, and I'm going to put that up here, 1 1/3. There's my second piece. And I need another, actually, that would be, 1 1/3. There we go. So 1 1/3, 1 1/3, and I need 1 more 1 1/3. So here's 1, and I need 1 more third. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to just double check my work. I have 1 1/3, 1 1/3, and then 1 1/3. And I'm left with 4 holes. So I know that 1 1/3 times 3 is equal to 4 holes. And this is how you multiply a mixed number by a whole number using a conceptual model, a concrete model, using Legos. And again, check out my video for the representation when you're thinking about the CRA progression. Some teachers have asked, well, this only really works for small numbers, and that is really true. You, at this point, should be working with small numbers for the concrete representation. By the time you get to larger numbers, they are most likely working in either the representation or the abstract. So don't worry about working in small numbers. Have them conceptually understand the concept and then move on through the progression. Thank you so much.